All right. Let's talk about Trump versus DeSantis and all the drama that's happening amongst people that like to share their opinion a lot.
It's been a wild 48 hours since the election.
Yeah.
Didn't even get to the end of the election, and then already the primary started. So, yeah. I guess the only thing that the main point that I would want to make is that it seems a lot of people are acting as if Trump is just attacking out of nowhere. And to me, if you're an influencer, if you're on social media at all, you should know by now, especially because Trump detailed it, that Trump was responding to what DeSantis was doing behind the scenes. So I don't know.
So what was DeSantis doing behind the scenes? Because
Yeah.
not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, a lot of people, I guess, some people don't know. All you got to do is read Trump's statement, and I recommend you read it and actually read it, But him, and there was another guy I recommend checking out, Rich Barris, who detailed it, and he said, basically what DeSantis has been doing for months is letting his people attack Trump publicly, not DeSantis himself, but his people, and then behind the scenes, he's been meeting with Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flag, right?
Yeah.
And planning a 2024 run. So DeSantis is planning to run against Trump, meeting with the swamp, and Trump's responding.
So there's a lot of people that are like, I'm noticing this on social media like crazy, and a lot of like the more outspoken, like small time and big time influencers who are choosing teams right now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of these people were Team Trump, like during his 4 years as president, he did a good job, a great job. And now all of a sudden they're just like, it's not just, oh, I like DeSantis, he's a better candidate. It's like Trump he's horrible. And it's a lot of stuff about the vaccine.
Yeah.
And they're like freaking out. But they forget that DeSantis also promoted the vaccine. So don't act like these other possible candidates weren't touting the vaccine too. It was a crazy year.
Let's be honest, nobody was perfect during the COVID year. I mean, hey, we are in Florida. All you got to do, just go look it up. DeSantis, he really did push the vaccine.
Yeah.
He said, you're not going to get sick if you take it, blah, blah, blah. He pushed it through Publix to make it easier. Publix, the grocery store out here, to make it easier for people to get it. I mean, I don't know why people call Trump a vaccine salesman, but they don't say the same about DeSantis. It just seems like a double standard. And both of them
didn't mandate it. And we have to remember that year, it was like they were trying to blame every single COVID death on Trump. That was like their main platform because the Democrats didn't have a platform because Trump's economy was strong. His record was amazing.
The world was so much better back then.
He didn't start any new wars, like the first president to not start any wars in like, I don't know how many years. And his record was, I mean, even though they said he was racist and a bigot and a rapist and blah, 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 all this stuff, his record and what he did for our country was making everyone's lives better.
He was going to cruise to re-election, so the pandemic was to take him down. And nobody responded to it perfectly, including DeSantis. He was not perfect.
So I can already hear people saying, it was worldwide. The pandemic was worldwide. Why would they plan that just to take down Trump?
Oh, they don't care. I mean, come on. Are you guys... I mean, these people have done world wars in order to get things the way that they want.
And cover up their dirty deeds.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ron, I voted for Ron. We live in Florida. We moved to Florida because it was an open state. But let's not act as if Ron was perfect. He also shut down Florida. And other Republican states, this is what Trump mentioned, did not. There are states that did not shut down.
They just didn't get the press. Yeah.
They just didn't get the press that Ron did. And on top of that, Ron shut down the whole state. There's video of this. I'm sorry, it's reality. He shut down the whole state of Florida while Trump was telling him only do hot zones. He was trying to, hey, let's just do it a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember that early on. He was saying just hot zones.
First politician that actually started, or the leader that started saying, hey, these lockdowns aren't good, was Trump.
And pulling back.
Yeah, and he was getting so much criticism.
And he wasn't perfect
in the mainstream
on it,
media.
But neither was Ron, and that's my biggest thing, and I think me and Kali are both on the same page on this, is I just don't like the dishonesty.
Yeah.
I don't like this revision of history and pretending as if Ron's just this perfect saint and Trump's punching out of nowhere. Like, Trump is punching back. So
we both agree that Trump needs to be the main nominee of 2024. Straight up.
Yeah.
For several reasons. One, Trump can't be bought. I don't know that about Ron DeSantis yet. And also, Ron DeSantis has young kids. I think that when you have young children and the way these people work, they're so dirty. Like, they're literally trying to put Trump in prison now.
I mean, look what they were doing
in prison
with
right
Barron.
now. Yeah. And so what's going to happen when DeSantis has that decision to
That
make
pressure.
either go that kind of pressure? Exactly. We've already seen Trump go through that pressure and stand firm.
Yeah.
Right. And then also Trump people don't like his personality or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't like his personality. That's the kind of personality we need right now to deal with these psychopaths.
Yeah.
We needed someone who was going to go, you are fake news, you're a bunch of frauds, you are swamp creatures, and not worry about the consequences that could happen with it. And honestly, he could have just complied and not said anything. And the fact that there's people from both sides that hate him, and it's always the same people.
The swamp
creatures.
The Paul Ryans,
the Mitch McConnells.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Seeing the people who are backing DeSantis, as much as I like him, if he's meeting with them, I'm sorry, I got questions.
Yeah. And it's not that we're like all cold on Ron DeSantis right now.
No, I don't. If he's going to come to power by cozying up to those people, it means he's going to owe those people something and he's going to govern that way. Whereas I know Trump has already declared war on the establishment. Guys, let's not forget, there was a time when the Bushes and the Cheneys, and so these people, and the McCains, were huge in the Republican Party. All those people are in the dust heap now.
They're so boring.
Why? Because Trump took them out.
Yeah.
He took out the Bushes, the Cheneys, Paul Ryan's gone, McCain is gone. I mean, all these people just
are exposed.
Exposed them.
Yeah, as frauds.
DeSantis is great at running a state that is a red state with a red legislature. He even had that before Tuesday. I don't know what he can do in D.C. Trump can go to war. You know what I'm saying? Like, figuratively, he can go to war. I don't know if DeSantis can handle Washington, D.C. like that.
And the other thing about Trump that I really appreciate, and I think we all need to be thankful to him, whether you hate him or not right now, whether you're cold on him and think he's lame or whatever, he did a really good job at getting the left and the Democrats to show their underbelly. Because the way that he just gets under their skin. He just gets under their skin. And the way that they react is so insane. Like, I feel like 10 years ago, our country was like, okay, it's pretty normal. Now we have but there was this little like festering monster growing inside of these Democrats that we didn't know was there. And now they're like, they like came out. They're here.
Yeah,
they're
all the
here.
craziness.
And it's because of Trump.
Yeah.
It's exposing things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we needed right now because so many people were in the dark. I mean, I was in the dark. I used to be on the left and I didn't participate in politics for 3 years because I was like, both sides are lame, right? And there is some truth to that. There's definitely some rhinos out there. But we have seen this last 2 years the difference between voting for freedom and not voting for freedom. And look at the way these Democrats voted this midterm. They voted for governors that shut down churches and kept strip clubs open.
Yeah.
They voted for governors that made them put masks on their kids for a year and a half. And these kids are like, these masks are nasty, by the way. Like, they don't do anything because they're all wearing cloth masks. The kids weren't wearing N95 masks or whatever. And it's and thinking they deserve some sort of medal for doing this, for shutting down. 20% of small businesses were lost in some of these blue areas because they shut down for so long.
And they're like,
let's get them again. So these people are insane. They're struggling with mental health issues. They're insane. They've got problems and they've been exposed now. And I think that a lot of people have woken up. That's why that's why they erased the walk away campaign. And then my last point on this is a lot of people have gone cold on Trump because of something that we can't mention on social media without being heavily censored and having my account and video taken down because it's something to do with dishonesty in voting.
What happened a couple years ago.
Yeah. the people that were screaming Russian collusion, well, we were, people on the right were also saying, hey, there's something fishy going on. Yeah. And the fact that we can't even talk about it without videos getting taken down is so admitting their guilt.
So after that, you expect me, after y'all did that, you expect me to just lie down and let you take out my candidate and let you take out Trump? No.
And if they went through that much effort, if we're in a place where it truly happened, where our election was hijacked, I'm going to say that. If that really did happen, which there is plenty of evidence that did, because it was only the swing states that had this record.
Y'all know.
Yeah,
we can't say
we can't say. So if that truly happened, we are in a 911 crisis situation in our country.
We need a fighter.
Crisis. And if it didn't happen, then okay, I can see why these people hate Trump, blah, blah, blah. But there's just way too much undeniable evidence for it. And it's Joe Biden. Okay? Like, if it was like any other, if it was Michelle Obama or something like that, I could see maybe. But like, And so we have to remember that is one of the worst things that could happen for our country. One of the worst things. So I think that we need to really make sure that we're not getting irrational. I also think there's this whole idea where people just someone makes one mistake or one thing that they don't like and they're all of a sudden just super cold on them. And they're going to do the same thing to Desantis.
Yeah.
They're going to do the same thing to him.
They will. Yeah. The swamp that's backing him right now will turn on him.
If he doesn't follow the rules and stay within their boundaries that they put out.
They're just using him to get rid of Trump. They don't even really like DeSantis at the end. So, I mean, if you guys really like DeSantis, you would tell him also, wait your turn, stand aside, because they're just going to use him and toss him. They just want to divide the vote. And you know what? There's a lot of good people out there who wishes that everyone could just get along. And why do we have to have... I wish this was heaven, but it's not. It's earth.
Yeah.
And politics is a blood sport, guys. And if you think that Trump's going to have everything that's been done to him while he's being threatened with jail, and the swamp's plotting behind his back and using this guy to oppose him, and he's just going to, the primary started. It's on, guys. They started attacking first. Multiple newspapers came out the day of the election, the day after, saying we need to move on from Trump. Trump's responding. If you want him to just be quiet, you live in a fantasy world. The fight's on.
And you know what else I'm kind of sick of? Is this whole, like, you worship Trump if you want him to have a second term. Like, Obama had a second term. Clinton had a second term. That doesn't mean we worship the man. Like, obviously, he's a flawed human being. But I'd like to see what he can do in another 4 years.
I'd like him to get a second term.
I kind of like what he was doing with my bank account.
Yes.
Like,
things were a lot better.
Like, this is not fun to, like, pay twice as much for your groceries and to have a president that's sending billions of dollars to Ukraine every single month. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. So it's not about worshiping the man or, falling at his feet. It's not that. It's just, come on. Like, I saw his record. I liked it. I liked what happened during his presidency. He actually got stuff done. And let's not forget what's happening at the border right now.
Yes.
What's happening at the border right now?
Yes.
Like, it's insane.
Yes.
They never report on what's really truly happening at the border right now. And that's really sad because it's scary. It's scary. We're going to lose our country so fast if we don't have a really strong fighter as our leader. And if anything, like I said, it buys us time. We need this time to get our act together as human beings. And we're not going cold on Trump.
Agreed.
I don't think you should do. I don't think you should too. And Ron DeSantis is a great guy, but also we want him here in Florida.
Yeah, I want him here in Florida.
Yeah. And let's go to the person that's already dealt with these swamp creatures and has already dealt with this insane left and knows how to handle it and knows how to get through it without, changing. Trump is Trump. Trump's still the same person from when he was on The Apprentice. Like, I watched that show and, like, he's still, like, the same man. It was a great show. It's funny because that was part of the reason when they were saying Trump's a racist and all this stuff, because he was like, would be kind of rash or talk badly about the five. What are those women? The five, the four?
Oh yeah, the View or whatever.
Not the View, but the Ilhan Omar and
Oh, the Squad.
The Squad. There we go. The Squad. He talked about it and they're like, he's so racist. He talks bad about the Squad. You know, like they were freaking out about that. And it's like, no, like, have you guys ever watched The Apprentice? That guy is equally talks bad about people. Like,
yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah, that's just who he is.
Yeah,
like, he just
daily,
calls it out. Like,
to everybody.
And then the other thing I miss about having Trump as our president is the transparency. Like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
All of his tweets, we got to hear what
Yeah.
was going on in his mind because he was like, let me tweet this out on why this is da-da-da-da, you know? And it's like, okay, thank you. Now I know what's going on. May not agree with it every single time, but at least I know where you're coming from instead of these like weird, some sort of like non-binary aide is writing Biden's tweets right now.
Which, to be honest, that's another thing about Desantis that, as much as I like him, I would much rather have a guy who comes straight out like Trump did and gives his position and tells you this is what happened, this is what I think, than a guy who's going behind the scenes and pretending he's cool on this. I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of?
A politician. Just kidding.
Well, yeah. And it reminds me of Obama.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Obama.
Well, oh, don't compare him to Obama. That's
I know.
mean,
But
no.
I'm just saying, like the way Obama...
We like DeSantis. I still like him. Yeah.
But the way that, like, you know what I mean? It was just polished, but man, behind the scenes, he was ruthless. And I'm like, I don't like that. I'd rather you be straight up front.
Have no faith in any man. Have
Yeah.
no faith in any man. But I will look at people's track records, judge people by their fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not by their words. And Ron DeSantis has been a great governor in Florida.
yeah.
And I'm sure he'd be a great president as well. But we're living in a very crazy country right now. It is not America of 10 years ago.
Yep.
And we really need to make sure that we have someone who knows how to handle all of what the left does. I mean, they tried to impeach him twice.
Yep.
Trying to throw him in prison.
Trying to throw him in jail.
They called him every single name on the book.
Yep.
Every single name. Every single possible... The worst thing you could call a human being is what they called Trump. And honestly, I think my voice would not be here as strong if it wasn't for his voice. Because I'm like, oh, this dude can get called every single thing awful and still just stand up for our country. That's what's happening to me almost every single day. I just posted a video about it now where they call me all kinds of stuff. And you know what? I just feel like, you know, I don't care. Like, I'm going to still fight for our country and I'm going to still say what I'm going to say and I'm going to stay strong. And I was inspired by Trump because of that he was able to stay strong for our country, even though he was getting all kinds of hate.
So the attacks will keep coming. And if it's not Ron, I'll tell you next, they're going to move on to Glenn Youngkin, who's already apologizing to Pelosi and all that. And then if it's not him, it's going to be Tim Scott. I'm telling you guys right now, get ready for the primary. It has begun.
Yeah. And let's not act like the right is all of a sudden super clean right now. It just isn't.
No. There's swamp. The swamp's still there. The swamp is still there.
We're in scarcity of really good men with really good intentions, especially in the political realm. So just keep critical thinking, stay wise, stay sharp. Don't just cancel someone like the crazy leftist because they said one thing that you don't like. Judge by fruit and drink your water. All right, God bless. Bye. Trump 2024.